Hi there, it's Michelle from CNC Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in New Zealand, and I'm bringing you another global monthly video hop. So once a month, myself and demonstrators from around the world do projects based on a theme, and this month's theme is Christmas. So I will show you some great Christmas ideas, and when you're done watching my video, give me a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe to see more videos, and in the description you can click on the links of the other demonstrators that are participating this month to get more inspiration for Christmas. I will also list the products that I show in this video, so if you wish to order any, you'll know which products to order and go talk to your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you don't already have a demonstrator and you live in New Zealand, you can go to michellekirchley.stampinup.net and order directly from me, or you can contact me through that website as well. So for the Christmas theme project, this month I am doing something using the North Pole Delivery Suite, which is on page 28 of the mini catalog from Stampin' Up. There's just some of the wonderful projects that their designers have made to give you lots of inspiration. But if you have a look, there's several boxes here. Now there's a die in the suite that makes these cute boxes, and you can decorate them in various ways. You can see some ways done there, and I'm going to show you how to create one of the gift boxes. The suite itself comes with the stamp and die set, the Jolly Delivery set. So some of the dies will cut images from the stamp set, other ones cut the box, as I mentioned. There's some white fluffy trim, which we'll use a little bit in a slightly different way that you wouldn't normally think to use. There's some deer dots that are 4 different colors, which match the designer series paper. And this is a specialty paper because besides having 5 different double-sided sheets, those are 12 by 12 inch sheets, so there's 10 different images because they have 1 image on each side. There's 2 sheets of die-cut images. So they match, some of them match up with the images you see in the paper, and some are completely different. And some of these dies will cut some of the images from the paper. So we've got like our dog, our bear, our, I think that's a badger, and the cat. And you will find images in some of the paper where those dies will cut it as well if you don't want to fussy cut things yourself. So let me just show you a sneak peek of what we're going to do. I'm going to change it up. I usually do change it up slightly for my samples, but so I think I have shown this in some of my other videos. So these are the little boxes, and I was thinking, oh, because the die cuts have some animals that pop out and little houses, and I thought I could make like an Advent type of box set, you know, put some numbers on there, which I haven't done yet. Unfortunately, there's only, with the die cut houses, there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different types, but you get 2 of each, and they're going 2 different ways. So that equals 14, which doesn't equal, you know, 24 days until Christmas, or 25 if you include Christmas, or even the 12 days of Christmas. So it doesn't quite match up, but you could cut some images out or just add some of the same houses. So at this stage, using just the die cut pop outs, I made all these different ones. So the shininess in the background, that is actually the treat bags from the Halloween online Halloween exclusive set. I don't have the bags in front of me, but when I find the name, I will put it in the description. And it just gives it a bit of shimmer. So I cut pieces off there, but I'm not going to do that when I show you today's. I'm going to show yours today's just with the paper. But this is what the bags look like, the little treat bags. So they're kind of iridescent. And if you actually heat them up, see that side I use the heat gun on, they wrinkle up. Or you can, let's see if I got a good sample there. You can actually emboss on them. So see, you got the snowflake and the droplets. Now that folder that I used to emboss with that set, we don't have any longer. It's a retired embossing snowflake sky 3D embossing folder. And in fact, we don't currently have any embossing folders with snow. So that's why I'm going to do this slightly different, so you are able to get the current products. But if you do have any embossing folders with snow and you want to do that effect, just cut what size you want from the bags. And because the bags are two sides, you just cut down the sides and you get quite a few. I think I did all of these from one bag. And so I'll just do you a close-up. And there's the fluffy trim right there. And a few more close-ups of each one. And then we'll get into what we need to make this. And so there's no stamping or die cutting for the front. It's all already pre-die cut images. I did do some stamping for the back. And then there, so that's all with the die cut images. And I want it to have an even number. So that's 7. And if I did another lot with the houses, so there's 2 of each house, so there would be 14. And then this is using the strip of paper that has houses in it. So I have a little less sky there, and then a strip of the houses, and then again a die cut image there. Now on the back, I've stamped it with the little envelope stamp here. Now, any of those other images, you could, if you want, stamp and die cut and cut them out if you'd like. You could even have a mailbox on there. So I did it with the envelopes, and I stamped all around in multiple ways. And then with the die for this, you have your choice of either a star opening or let me find another one. Yep. A circle opening. That's the circle. And yes, there is a heart, if I can find it. There you go. And there's the heart opening. So you can, I'll show you when you die cut it how to get the different openings for there. But if you just slide the 2 pieces together, you can pop it open, and then I just have a little message on this inside. So that one's special delivery from me to you, and with the little present. I think I might have different ones. Here we go. This is the one we're going to do today. Hoping this Christmas is the most magical yet, and the little gift on there as well. So I will show you how to make those with a slightly different front, because that way, if you wish to make them, you will be able to get everything necessary. So we're using a few of the stamps. We're using the envelope stamp, one of the sentiment stamps, and the gift stamp from the Jolly Delivery set. From the die, the Jolly Delivery dies, so there are dies that cut all those different things out, but there's also this big die that will cut the shape for the box, and you've got the different choices for the star, the heart, or the circle. So I'm just going to go with the circle for this one. So what you'll need besides that is you need the North Pole Delivery specialty paper, and in there, as I mentioned, there are pop-outs. So I've used quite a lot of it, but see, there are some sheets that have the images that just pop right out. So we're using some of the houses, which I've already popped out. Let me see if I can take this out without it falling apart. Okay, so there you go. Those are die cut, and you can see they pop out quite easily. So one sheet has like the houses and the cars, and there's 2 of each, and they're going different directions. So like with this one, showing you this house, then there has a second one, and it's the opposite direction. And the same with the cars, and that's quite convenient because if you're making something and you want it to go a different way. This one I've used quite a lot, so you won't be able to see many of the images left. But lots of envelopes and things. I'm planning to do maybe a wreath with those envelopes. And animals. Again, there's 2 of everything, and so they're opposite ways. So this squirrel looking this way, there'll be another one with the squirrel looking the opposite direction. And so lots of those, and like little images that look like stamps, as well as full sheets of designer series paper. Now, since I don't have the embossing folder, I'm using the opposite side of the animal one that looks kind of like snowflakes, just white dots and a little bit of the pool party color there. So I've cut a piece already out of that, and that piece is for the front. Oh, sorry. And that is about 7.5 centimeters by 6 centimeters. And that's going to cover the front. Now, it depends on what house you put on there. I'm going to use the largest house. So this one's going to cover a lot of the front. So I went with the blue for the whole thing. If you wanted to do something like this, you could do the blue DSP for the top and some white at the bottom. Now I've got a piece for the inside, which is, I think it's 7.2 by 6.3, so slightly smaller to fit on the inside. And that's basic white. And then you need a piece of pool party to fit your die. So it turns out if you cut it an A4 piece in half, then that's exactly enough to fit the die, and then you still have half left to make a regular present. And then you just need to choose what die cut you want. So this one, here's the houses as I showed you before. They've got some that are very similar. They're like shops. You know, some of them have like little envelopes to show that they're a post shop. Little mailbox thing at the side. And then also what pops out are the different cars. So see, the cars are going 2 different directions. So we got all those. I also went and fussy cut from the paper some of the ones with the animals. So these are from the designer series paper, and I just fussy cut them out so I could have different images to create more cards and things with. So I haven't decided quite yet which of those I'm going to use on this card. So for die cutting, when you put your die down, put it onto your cardstock, or you can even die cut the designer series paper if you want. And this die has 3 notches right there. So you see the 3 notches right there? And that is to fit any of the images, any of the shapes you want. So that fits right there, and it will end up cutting that shape in the right spot to meet up with the slit, the opening. So when you die cut it, you want to have your shape sitting through those 3 little notches. So if you put it down, you want it face down on your paper, and then that just slips in there. Oop. And it just sits in there. Oop. Trying to show you close up. There we go. Try to show it close up. There we go. So basically it just sits in those notches. Okay, so I'm going to go die cut that off screen, and I'm going to come back and show you how to put the box together. Okay, so I've die cut that, and as you can see, there's the circle there, and that will match up with that slit there for our box to open up. So, need your bone folder to burnish all the score lines. And before we will burnish. Yep, we'll burnish first. So I'm going to burnish all these score lines. So you got the little tabs, and you might have seen other videos with this box being done, and people have different ideas of how to glue the tabs down. I will show you the way I do it and why I do it the way I do it. But you may have seen other ways of creating this box, or if you have a look after my video on how to create the box, there are some different ways to do it. And So the other thing too is whatever shape you created, circle or star or heart, there's score lines there as well that need to be burnished so it opens and closes easily. Let's see, did I get everything? Oh, I think I forgot. So I'll also show you at the end of the video what fits in the box, because it is smaller than I expected it to be. So see the little circle there? There's some lines there that you burnish to score on it. But I'm not going to do that yet because I want to stamp. So before I do any of that, I'm going to stamp. And a couple different things I'm going to stamp. So when you're creating the box, keep in mind which way you want to, where the front is, because the back will be the other way around. And if it's a circle, it doesn't really matter which direction you go. However, if you're using a star, if you want your star to be straight up, you need to make sure that the slit is on the top and the image is at the bottom. The same for the heart. So you wouldn't want it to be opening this way because your heart would be upside down. So you've got to be aware of which way things are going when you're stamping. Now I'm making this to sell at a craft market. I sell things at craft markets in Pocono at Crafty Cows. So because of that, I'm going to stamp my information on the inside for two reasons. One, if somebody buys it and wants more, they know how to contact me. But secondly, and most importantly, is if you are selling any products that you make with Stampin' Up images or dies, you need to give credit to them by stamping with the copyright image stamp. And they do have a stamp set that has, see the copyright Stampin' Up? They do have a stamp set that has that copyright because for copyright purposes, you need to show that. Now that's for things that you're selling. If you're just giving people things and you're not actually selling any of the products, it's not necessary, but I do it on everything, even if I'm giving them away, because somebody might get one of my items and say, oh, I quite like that, I'd like more. And that way, see, I've got my details there, they could contact me. So I did that first so I didn't forget, because it's hard to stamp it afterwards. The other thing I want to stamp is the flap. So I've got the mailboxes there, and then I also had one on the circle on the inside, but I think I might change this one up slightly. So in order to do that, I want to make sure I'm going to do that in Pool Party this time. Instead of this was all done in the Memento, I thought I'd change it up to do it in Pool Party. And so this is where you need to realize which way the back is going to open, because you don't want to stamp it upside down and then have it the front the wrong way around. So I'm just going to stamp this with Pool Party. And the way they've got the images, you'll see in a second, they overlap quite nicely. I'm going to start at the top and just do it like that. So I did that so I didn't get the top of it on the edge. But now when I stamp the rest of them, you'll see they're going to line up almost perfectly into each other if you just go straight down. So see, it almost just lines up perfectly. And then the die is fabulous because the die will cut it out exactly where you want it to go. So now this one, I'm going to do the same thing. And I won't worry too much about getting any ink on the inside because the inside's going to be covered up. Okay. And then I've just got to do this side over here. And I'm just doing, there we go. So I've just got all these little envelopes there. Now, if I want to have the circle lined up with the same image, I need to be aware of where I'm stamping. But, so like this one, when it opens up, It's easier to do when there's something in there. When it opens up, that envelope is almost exactly where the envelope I stamped on the outside is. But I am going to use a different stamp for the circle. I'm going to use the compass. So I'm going to use the compass stamp on the circle, and I just got to try to make sure I've got... See, this one doesn't actually have a north or a south, but it does have a couple dots, which I think are east and west. And I'm just going to stamp that right there in the circle. Line that up. And so there's a circle. Now that's why I didn't burnish those score lines, because burnishing them before stamping would have left a crease in my stamped image and would not be that easy to see. So now that I've done that, I can burnish those. And because this doesn't have a north or south on it, if I did that one upside down, it wouldn't matter very much. Now I'm going to stamp the white for the inside, so I can stick it down. We're going to go with garden green for the words. And this stamp has been well loved so far this Christmas. That's why it's turned pink, because I've been using it with Poppy Parade during a class I was doing. So that's the words there. And then I'm just going to put the little gift in Poppy Parade at the bottom corner. And that's all the stamping for this guy. But I want to stamp this first because it'd be difficult to stamp it after. And if you want to know how I know, because when I originally created it, I thought about putting this in as an afterthought. So I'll pop that down. Let's see if I've got a glue that's working today. That's good enough. Okay, and also because I have stamped my words there, I know which way up it is. So because I have my copyright words at the bottom, I know which direction to go. Now some people might think, oh, you know, I'm not a demonstrator, I don't have to do the copyright thing. It doesn't matter whether you're a demonstrator or not. Anybody using Stampin' Up! Products, images, dies, must show that. And it's called a angel, I think it's the angel policy, and it's in the back of the catalog as well as on the website. So they're not asking for any money, and they're okay that you make money selling their products. But you do need to acknowledge that it's their images and dies through the angel policy. So if you have a look at that on the website, I was trying to see it in the back of the catalog, but I don't see it. But there's always some really nice stamping sets that come with that copyright Stampin' Up! Image. So it's a really nice one to have anyway. So I glue the edges of this together. That's how I like to stick it together. And I also glue it, not tape it, because one, you get wiggle room with glue. And two, it's actually coming into summer here in New Zealand. And the summer heat usually makes the adhesive on tape not stick. So it's not good to have it just with tape. So you put the glue on those little flaps and then you hold them together until it stays. Which is also why you want to do all your stamping beforehand. Okay. And then I'm just going to, I glue both of them because it's easier to do that than trying to glue and stick the flap in after you got one side down. So just a bit of glue on the flaps, same. And then pop them in and they should, oops, sorry, I bumped the camera. They should line up on the corners. Just line your corners up nicely, and having liquid glue, you have the wiggle room to do so. I should have probably decorated the front first, but we're not stamping on the front, so sticking it down should be okay. But And having said that, it would have been easier for me to glue the front of it together before I did the sides, but that's okay. We will survive. And then those fold down, and then you put your little bits there. And it's much easier to get the pieces to come through when there's something in the box. And so that's the box done. I'm going to open that up because I'm going to show you a little tip. If you do it like I did and forget to glue the front on, use your blocks. So I'm just going to clean that off. So pop a block down, and then with it open, anything you glue on the top, you've got that it's not going to press in too far because you got the block to go on top of. Making sure you're going the correct way up, so that's the going that way, and this is the front, so that's the way we want things to go. We're going to just glue on our designer series paper. Now, if you're gluing something like vellum, because you could also, oh, that's a lot of glue out there. The part I showed you for the bag, you could also use vellum to do the same effect if you don't have the bags. But if you're gluing something like that down, it's best to put the glue on and then spread it evenly. And if you're not aware of it, the other side has a nice spreader. So you could glue that on the vellum and just use this side to evenly spread the glue so it's not as noticeable when you stick down something that's see-through like vellum or that bag, the spooky bag. So this one is actually going to go up a bit higher because I'm going to put the fluffy, what's it called? White fluffy trim. I'm going to put that at the bottom. So this helps me get it in place, and then if I turn it over, I can even use the block to rub on the inside to give me good pressure. Okay. So now the next thing is I'm going to put my little building on, and I'm going to put my building towards the right hand side because I'm using a big building. So I'm going to put that on towards the right. Just a few bits on the edges. And then I want to make it look like there's a bit of snow. So to give the snow effect on the bottom, you just take some of your fluffy trim and you glue it down. Now, if that's too thick, too wide, then you just cut it in half. So like there's some of these that I've got thinner bits on. So I cut it in half to make it thinner. But I'm thinking this one's probably going to be fine because I'm going to put a car on it. So you just kind of eyeball where you need to cut it. And then, stuck to my finger. And then with this, stuck to my finger. I'm going to use tape because when you put things down like ribbon, the glue will ooze through and stick everywhere, and it doesn't stick very well. So this one I am going to use tape and just hope that it's not so hot that it comes off in the summer. But so I've still got my block under there because I don't want it to stick up too high. And then start at one edge and work my way over. There we go. And this one you can actually kind of curve it round, like if I had a hillside or something to go on. So got that there. I can trim up the edges if I want. Let's see how, just turn it opposite to trim that fuzz off the edge. And the other side, just turn it around. I'd rather have it too long and trim a little off than not enough. There you go. And then the last thing I want to put, I'm trying to decide which of the cars. So I've got the cars that die cut. Now that's too blue. Not sure if I like that one. And then I have the ones that I fussy cut. Now I want the car to be going this direction because I want it to be heading towards. So see, that's like a mail carrier, but I think it's just too much red. But then we've got the bunny. It could be delivering mail, or I could just have the regular vehicle delivering mail, which is actually slightly smaller. But since everything else I have has animals in it, I'm going to go with the bunny. And I'm going to pop that up with some dimensionals. And again, I've still got it on my block, so I'm just going to pop a few dimensionals on the back of that to pop it up, give it some height. And I think we're going to be done. I could add some bling to it, but I didn't add any to the other ones. So I might leave that, but I could add some dots to it. So this one, I'm just putting the car where the wheels are just on the snowy road. So you can just see a bit behind it. So there you go. And that, I believe, is our little box finished. Now, I will show you some things that fit in this, and it makes it easier to shut. So there we go. There's our one done. And so the difference there is I don't have the shiny background. I just have the dotted background. Now let me show you some things that can be put in it. Okay, so in the box, you can fit like the mini Hershey's. You could fit a couple of those cookies and cream mini Hershey's in there, and that fits just fine. Those in the US that can get their hands on nuggets, you can fit a few nuggets. I'd say you could probably fit maybe 6. No, it's probably better if they go. You could probably do 3 across there and 2 at the bottom, so maybe 5 nuggets. Unfortunately, you can't really fit one of the Cookie Time cookies because it sticks up too much. It won't shut properly, so it's too fat. Some of them maybe aren't sticking up as far, so you might be able to get away with some of them. If you do make your own cookies, you can put those in there. The other thing I found are these festive Kit Kats. So those work, and look, the color almost matches. So that would fit 3 of those festive Kit Kats in there. And so as you see, when it's full of stuff, the little opening holds up easier for you to close it. So the difference here is not only the color, but I've put the circle kind of like a stamp as if it was posted, where the other ones, I'll put some in here so it shuts. Where the other ones I've already done, I did it so it's just another envelope. So let me know which you prefer, the one with the little circle on it, or if you like that, or do you like the darker color, or do you like it in the pool party? And that's that. So that shows you some Christmas ideas using the North Pole suite. And so that's my Advent. So if you wanted to do this for like an Advent calendar, I suggest you either, maybe with the circle, there is a die that cuts a circle out, is you could have a circle with the numbers there, or if you want them to stand up like that, you could put a number at the top, and people could then, you know which one to open when. Or you could even put the number on the very back. But if you wanted it to be a display item with people being able to see what they can get, how they can, what number to open it on what day, that's the better way to do it. So now I've got 9 of them. And if I carry on and make more with those houses, I will have 15, because there'll be 14 of the houses and then this one, and then I can make more with that. Now I've got a couple other things I've made with the suite that I just want to show you. I don't have a video of them. I just wanted to show you other things you can make. So that's using it with the die. And here it is. Again, I fussy cut the little car, and we've got the dots on there. And so that's just, it stands up like this. And that's just a scene of a delivery. And then got the image on the inside. And then this one, when I saw the card, I just had to do a Z fold card. So there's all the houses you're driving past, and then it opens that way, and you can see. And I even put the little hedgehog with the envelope stuck in the back. And this one, again, this is all die cut images. The only stamping were those 2 messages there, sending merry tidings from here to there. But this one stands up like that. And then you've got the white on the back, so you can write your message on the back of the card. But that's really, really cute. And I could even substitute the fussy cut cards to do that one. But there's only 2 sheets in the package with these houses. So use them wisely, or buy more than 1 pack of a designer series paper. So I certainly hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you thought, which is your favorite of all the images that I did. I have already done a video using this suite with a special card that opens up, that does a tag, and it's a gift card holder. So if you'd like to see that, that was published about 3 weeks ago, I believe. It was in October, so have a look at my previous videos to see another wonderful project made with this set. Thanks so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to click the links in the description to go look at some other ideas for Christmas. Thanks so much. Have a good day. Bye.